Well, another day of disaster speed shop. Dan here. So we're working on 64 Chevy II. We've been gasserizing it over the last kind of 4 videos, I believe. And you know, I did a little bit on my own the last couple days simply because we were waiting on parts. And I got a little bit ahead on videos, which is like a super rarity for me. And I thought I'd do some of the boring stuff that just honestly kind of makes for, you know, boring-ish content and all that. I've had the time to skip through it. I thought I would do you guys that favor. You're welcome. All I accept in return is a subscribe to the channel. We're fine. So the front end is kind of together. I did start plumbing brakes. They were a little goofy, and nothing's permanent. We can always redo stuff, but I went up real high and away from the fender wells. That was a concern of mine. Everything is loose, so nothing is permanent whatsoever. We'll probably end up building some sort of aluminum shield. We probably have, I don't know, a couple inches of air gap, but that does worry me a little bit. I did put the metering block on the frame, so it's all dialed together, and we have just kind of lines randomly run, but nothing is, you know, seated or taken care of. We have to do that. I did get the front shocks on the tie bar or the tie rod and the steering arm. That's all together. The new bar came from Speedway. Those guys styled me and got stuff here real quick. We tightened everything up on the front end. So I believe the front end is kind of like together. We have to plumb it and all that. We have no brakes on it, but the brakes did show up. So those highfalutin kind of racy brakes were missing a few things. And ultimately what I said is, you know what, let's just send me the standard, you know, what are these? I said right on them, I thought. Whatever they are. They're like the generic GM single piston. Oh, here they are. 7988 GM single piston, whatever. These are mint. I've had these on like every Tri-5, had 0 issues, so that's going on there. This is what they sent for the front shocks and actually the rear shocks. Just these little sleeve adapter things. You can slide them in there and then use the bolt of choice. Crush washers. These are the Kingpin shims, so we got to get that done because where we left it before, we needed more shims in the passenger side Kingpin, so we can do that as well as the brakes at the same time. That's sweet. What else do we have going on? I kind of think that's... What's in this box, do you think? Oh, brake pads. So that's all that. Oh, steering. I loosely put the column in. It's just sitting in there. Nothing is permanente. I have a U-joint on the steering box and a U-joint on the column and a double D bar running between the two. That's all is kind of temporary. So I knew where to run the brake lines. So that should work pretty darn good. What I have to do is build some sort of a bracket or a clamp or something at the bottom of the column so it doesn't slide back and forth. The factory column, it ran right down to the steering box. Obviously we don't have that option here, so we have to mount the column at the bottom and the top, but I believe where I have it here loosely is about the factory location, so it should work out pretty much fine. Underneath, we've been doing a little bit of work. Makes it like but you guys are being lazy. What do we got going on? Oh, I plumbed the brakes. Got that done. We got the traction bars back in. There is a drive shaft in the thing. Oh, I did the hardware for the tank. That's pretty sweet. So my buddy Ryan Domarchance, he does all my drive shafts. And when I told him what I wanted wrong. Shocker. And rushed to get it built, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I thought it was 1350 U-joints. And it's 1330 on the dip. So, whatever. Story of my life. I ended up getting a combination U-joint. We'll put that in. But I forgot to get the little U-bolts to bolt it all in. So, what are you going to do? If we can run the brakes, do a few things like that tonight, get the column dialed. I don't know what we're going to do. I like, you know, front end, get the brakes on, all that sort of stuff. We got some work ahead of us. I would like to I have this thing kind of pulled far ahead so I can just use the lift on the back just to get under there. We'll go ahead and finish everything I have to do in the back, drop it down, push the car back, or lift ahead, lift it up properly. So let's get after it. I'll show you what we got going on under there, and yeah, back to work, one day off. Well, hi guys. So we're back under here. I just took everything apart, took the rotor and stuff out. more so just so it's easy kind of accessing, show you guys what I'm doing, and hopefully it'll all work out. So where we left it, we put it all together making a roller, but this Kingpin, it's got a lot of play in it, and you don't want any more than 6 thou. So we got some new China shims. So these are, I don't know what they are thickness wise, it says on them. There's 10 of them though, so I'll use 2 and lose 8. Anywho, so we'll go ahead and, oh, this is already loose. Guess I wasn't really planning to do a whole lot. Now this pin, did I mark it? Hopefully I did. Oh, I did, and it's out to lunch. Okay, so this pin's gotta come out. So, Kingpin, as it turns out. So now we're gonna put 2, I've lost 3 shims already. We're gonna put 2 shims in, just to see what happens here. Oh, I've mangled it. So, you know what, let's take this right apart. Oh God. So there's shims on top. Let me just get these all together, man. Some good watching. And there's the bearing on the bottom. Kingpin goes through. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put this back together. And I marked a little Sharpie where the flat spot is. A little Allen. Let's put these shims in. Huh. Can I not even put them in? What's going on here? Oh. Maybe we'll put 3. Maybe I was only missing 1. Imagine that. All that screwing around. We're missing 1 frickin' shim, but story of my life. Okay. 4, 5, 6. So this is 8 thou. I bet we're gonna be able to fit this in there. Yep. So we need another shim. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it all apart and put another shim in. Or I can just push it down. So I got it all together. I think there's 4 or 5 shims in there. We got 3 thou, which is perfect. The pin, as you can see, moves up and down. We just gotta give this a quick little, oops, tighten. Not what? What's going on? Stanley, come on. Mr. Stanley, what are you doing? Oops. Give that a good tight. Okay. So now that's not going nowhere. The next thing you gotta do is put on these dust caps, which I've lost. Oh no, okay, we're good, we're good. Very simple. All they do is they kind of sit in the top, and then you take a little clip or whatever you call it, spring. Oh, lost. It's all bust. You know, snap ring pliers. Gentle. Okay. Put those in there. Just a little bit of help on that one. Oh. My tools are not great. Okay, there we go. And there we go. So that's in. Just like that. We'll do the bottom. That'll keep all the dust out, keep the grease in. And yeah, we should be set with that as far as I'm concerned. So I'm gonna do the bottom real quick and then we'll start putting the brakes back on. Up next, put this roller back on. Now this is where we ran into a slight problemo with spacing of a washer, so Speedway sent me a few washers. Okay, get that on there. Like got a bunch of grease all over the rotor. That's mint. What's going on here? Why am I struggling? What's going on here? Oh, there we go. Just need a little bit of love. Okay. Bearing in, bearing in, bearing. There we go, in. Okay, now, because the cotter pin is kind of sticking out a little bit and it doesn't actually grab Oh, where did I put it? Pause. So, the problem we had was when we had just one of these washers on and we tighten the nut, the castle nut here. Obviously, you guys all know the castle nut. The whole point is to be able to run a cotter pin through it. For whatever reason, when the cotter pin, or when the nut was all the way tight, the cotter pin would be something like this. So obviously, it wasn't doing its cotter pinning. So just gave me another deal. I saw some other guys, and in the past kits, actually, I should say, in Tri-5 stuff, it comes with either two of these or a washer or something like that. So we'll just see the bearing in here. Spin and turn. Spin and turn. Well, this is kind of boring. There we go. Okay, she's tight. Loosen it off. And we'll call it like that. Finger-ish tight. And then now the cotter pin fits. The bearing can't do nothing. Almost like professional. Use all the proper tools, obviously, guys. Come on. Don't screw around here. DD Speed Shopped. Okay, so that's mint all through the other side. Don't let me forget about that. But that's golden. Now next, what are we gonna do? Oh yeah, brakes. Wanna do brakes? So we have the new caliper. This is your generic Speedway brand. You did have to grind a couple of nubs off just to make it kind of fit. Now, the reason we're going with these to the other ones is these have these little rubber O-rings, and for whatever reason, the other one did not have that. Bleeder to the top. Yes, we want a bleeder to the top. Okay, so we'll put that on there. Now, came with brake pads. Maybe I'll just get this stuff all unwrapped. We'll be right back. Probably hit that with some brake clean too, get all my greasy fingerprints off it. We're back. Rotor's blasted off, got dust cap on. We got the pads in the caliper. I put a little bit of anti-squeak silicone-y stuff on it. Get that on like that. Now, the next thing you gotta do, basically the last thing we gotta do, is these little pins. Man, I did the 56 Chevy. I took them apart. Is that what it was? I did something. I didn't put never sees, and man, the internet just absolutely barbecued me. Like, relax, dudes. If I don't do this, it'll be the next guy's problem. I've been the next guy enough times that it's one of your guys' turn to get the DD Speed Shop didn't do it. Okay, I'll put this on there. And I'll tighten that up. After that, we're gonna test fit these brake hoses. Now it came with some long, I probably could have got an Allen key to tighten these, but whatever. You can get it started by finger. It came with these long brake hoses, obviously because we're lifting. We have to weld a little tab, because you're gonna have your rubber hose go up to your tab, and then we can flare this and have it all kind of go together. So that'll be what we're gonna do next. After I get this kind of thing, have these little O-rings I always find pop out, so maybe they'll never help me out. We'll get them tightened up, and really that's kind of the front end. It's amazing what happens when you get the right parts and a little bit of motivation. Engaged. We have our long brake hose on. Now the way this works, so you don't want it touching the spring obviously, so we got to keep it kind of, whoops, a little bit on the high side. Now we're going to use this little tab here. And that fits on like that, then this little kind of clips go in. And that'll hold it, kind of something about like that, which then we can flare our lines. So let me just set up the camera here. Oh, I got stuff everywhere. Sorry guys, this is embarrassing. Oh my God. You guys just pay for top-notch stuff. For some reason, I just keep, whoops, mangling it. So, where do we want to put this? Like that-ish, there. Ish, there, something. Close your eyes. Whoops. Give her a... Perfect. Ain't going nowhere. Well, hopefully ain't going nowhere. Put that up. What's going on? Like that. Leatherman is a hammer. Bam! So there we have it. We have all sorts of, that's all the way down. We should have lots of turning radius, no issues, and be golden. This, once there's some load on it, it'll kind of curl up. My issue is I don't want it touching the spring. So we'll turn the wheel back and forth, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna be just fine. Just because I know someone's thinking it, full crank. Still floppy, so we're good. And honestly, the steering stops trying to set up. So I'm gonna do the other side real quick like, and then I don't know if we should start plumbing the front brakes. We just get that 100% dialed. I do have some self tappers and the little insulated clamps. Oh, right in the grease. So we can get that taken care of. And then the back brakes, well, they're like started, but we gotta unravel that, sink it all the way to the back, tie it all up. The factory one, this is just like a Tri-5, it actually ran on this side, so there's clips on the passenger side, but the portioning valve and all that's on that side. So we're under the back with a couple of, self tappers into the frame section and the floor section, wherever we gotta do, and all the way to the back. So we're kind of a little bit lower. Got our brake line run all nice like. So that's all done, flared, ready to go in the front. The next thing we're gonna tackle is the steering. I've been doing a lot of thinking and stuff. So here's what I am doing. You have the column in, very simple. At the bottom there, I don't know if you can see it right there, I put just an exhaust clamp, so it's loose right now. But we'll be able to tighten that up. And that'll sandwich it against the body. Now the next thing I've done, we have this little shaft here, so I've tightened it up so it's kind of in line with that U-joint. I actually took some of the shaft, I cut it down so the U-joint would go all the way up to a little kind of nub. And what we're gonna do is just kind of put that up in there, eyeball it, so it's like, obviously see now it'll be in the U-joint, we don't want that, so take inch and a quarter, inch and a half out of it. We'll put that in there. I think what I might do is actually give it just a little tack weld on the D section of it. I don't think the splines will have any issue, but well, really it shouldn't fall apart at all. But I know you're not supposed to weld on steering, but when it comes to just making sure she's freaking not going to come apart, a tack weld here, tack weld there probably won't hurt. And that'll be the adjustment. That's all that really is to it. And fortunately, I guess even headers wouldn't be too bad, but with these fender wells, we have just all kinds of room, and the brake line's actually clear, pretty decent. They could be, bent a little bit more, or do whatever we got to do, but that'll be just fine. And yeah, pretty friggin' simple. I'm pretty happy with this. We'll straighten out the steering box, make sure everything all kind of lines up, but honestly, it's a good little setup. There's not any kind of crazy angles and all that. So I'm gonna pull this shaft out, I'll mark it, I'll pull it out, I'll cut it, I'll slam it in, and then the steering will be like kind of done. Put a steering wheel on it and carry on. I think I'd like to run the brakes to the back, and that might be where we're gonna call it tonight. I don't even know what time it is, but 10:15. It's getting to be that time, but I would like to kind of finish up and then make a list of all the stuff I need for tomorrow, because we're hauling ass on this thing. Good love you. I'm tired. I'm not gonna get the brakes done. Now here's my reasoning. I have to run the brake line back, and the last thing I have to do is cut the little mounting tab, move it over and re-weld it. Don't really want to re-weld it then immediately go to bed, but we'll do it tomorrow. Look at that, we have the shaft all the way in. Spins real easy. No issues there. No bindy. And steering column is nice and sturdy. I put the wheel on it just kind of cuz, but ain't going nowhere. Look at that. See the wheel turn? Look at that. Oh yeah. So, slick, no binding, everything worked good. What we're gonna do for a wheel, looks a little goofy having that kind of, I guess maybe like we painted. Maybe I should have painted that column. But is what it is. We do have to get Dani out here and see where we want the seat to be. Typically what I do, put the seat all the way forward, she can fit it, then all the way back is hopefully gonna be good for me. The brakes are all, like I said, plumbed and everything. All I have to do is connect the quarter line all the way to the back, but I'm tired. My phone died. I was listening to the old Joe Rogan. Oliver Anthony's on there, man. He's got a set of words on me, but phone died. I'm tired. It's time for a break. Be back at it tomorrow, do a little bit of cleanup, but this thing is getting close. U-joint, fuel line, a few little things like that. Then we got something we want to do in the motor. Still, like I said, the radiator is a little ways away yet. Same with the carburetors. So do I just put the, with the factory rat in there, zip tie it in there, a couple of coolant hoses, a belt, put a single carb on it. We could, in theory, run and drive this thing, which would be kind of cool. Take it right around the block at least, and then go from there. I really think once we get that done, we put the hood on, hinges, like, I know it kind of looks like a car, but still has a ways to go, but every day it's like being permanent. Yeah, we're going together. I'm clearly tired. I'll see you guys tomorrow. New day, well, new evening. It's already freaking dark out. Anyway, I was doing some work. One of the neighbors having like a party, and you can't have the old music on the YouTube, and it's too hot to work with the door down, so sorry. I'll just show you what I've done here. The rear end is basically together. We got all the bushings tight there. This little, whatever, traction bar is all dialed together and tight. We changed the bolts up at the front. That was real simple. I didn't have any washers on the U-bolts. I took those off, put washers in them. So that's all taken care of. I moved the brake line on the other side. You can see it's all shiny there, so I welded that on. That's fine. We had the brake line just ugly run. It's literally just flopping around, so we gotta do that. What else we got going on? I think that's all I did. I feel like I was working hard. So that's all kind of taken care of. I changed shock bolts, put grade 8 bolts in there. So they're kind of good. Yeah, I guess that's all I did. So drive shaft, that's what I screwed around with. So we got this nice drive shaft in there. I changed the U-joint. Oh, guess what? So Ryan, Domar Trans, if you need a drive shaft, you're local or willing to pay for shipping, look him up, he's great. I was changing the the U-joint, and I slipped with a hammer and smashed the shaft itself. So that's awesome, brand new. We'll just go ahead and get that, fixed up. So the gear vendor finally shipped today. So I should have that maybe in 10 days or so, depending on how it goes with the border and screwing around and tariffs and whatever. But so yeah, I'll have that. But in the meantime, it'll be kind of a runner driver car. Really, at this point, like I said, carburetor and a radiator in it. We can kind of just drive around the block. We're not going to Texas yet. And yeah, so we're coming up on the weekend. I'm hoping I can get just a huge parts list. If I need to get anything, I got to get it now. And I'll just work. But I'm really thinking things are going good. So let's get the brakes together. We'll get that. Dani's playing video games on the old internet tonight, so there's not a whole lot we can do there. Maybe get those seats in and kind of get it all set up. Oh, I got some fuel line, some aluminum fuel line. Maybe we'll run that as well. But it's really, things are coming together, if you know what I mean. So I'm pretty friggin' excited about it. Up and down the lift. I'm ready to just put the tires on and be done with it. I say I'd like to hear it run. Mufflers show up tomorrow. I have exhaust pipe is in the Nomad. So yeah, the list is getting shorter, but there's a lot to do in this thing in about 10 days or so. So hats off to the guys that build these things in a hurry for the TV shows, because that's 100% real. No one's bullshitting. They can get it done in 7 days. All right, be back under there and getting stuff done. Well, tonight was a lot of screwing around, but I took the seats out and I put these Speedway jobbies in. They actually have a pile of adjustment forward and back, which is good when the the dual driver situation where one is a little on the short side, one's a little on the long side. So we still have lots of room back. This is actually where Dani kind of wants to be. So the seat will be all the way back for me. But these are nice. They fold all the way back. Easy to get in. Yeah, so when I'm sleeping, it'll be golden. All right, hop out. We gotta look under this thing. I did a bunch of plumbing and whatnot on the underside, so that was all good. Are you out yet? What's going on? The bolstering. Shut the door. There's a bunch of bolstering on the side, which is, it's actually quite comfortable, and I think it'd be kind of nice to be driven in.
It doesn't close up.
It's fine. So let's go all the way up here. I'll show you everything we did underneath. Oh, here, you can hold this button here. Come on. There's one thing on the ground, you kick it.
The green one?
The green one. Green's the only button there is. Ah! So under here, we ran a brake line all the way to the front. We got the fuel line on the side. That'll be good enough. So we got our aluminum line up on the side. The brake line there. The subframe cars are weird. Like, there's just nowhere for stuff to join. But that's all taken care of. I don't know what else I feel like I was just screwing around non-stop, but everything is like done on this. I got the transmission cross member. I just had these ridiculous long bolts. We put proper bolts in. That's locked in. We got to do shift linkage and the mount. I don't have any bolts in that, but that's basically done. Then I'm just thinking about subframe connectors, going from the, perch just to the kind of subframe there, and just putting a piece of like rectangular tubing of some sort. This thing is weird when you put it on the, it's not weird, it's what it is, but when the weight is on the wheels, the doors open and close mint. But when you lift it on the body like I've done, the door, you gotta slam it. So obviously the car does have a fair bit of twist to it. Being a postcard, I'm actually surprised. And this thing is gonna have a decent amount of power, so there's gonna be some twisting to it. Not right away, but when Dani's running those 17-second quarter miles like Vin Diesel, for those 17 seconds, she's free. But yeah, she's stiff up front, so we can kind of join that all together. So I think that'll be a plan coming up, but for now, tomorrow, I'm gonna bolt seats in proper. They might have to go up just a hair. The brackets are super slick though, like you just need a little bit of angle and you're golden. And then I gotta make sure the master cylinder is all lined up with the rod for the transmission or for the brake pedal. I'm tired, clearly, yet again. And once we get that dialed together, we can bleed the brakes, motor trans in, drive shaft done, rear end's done, brakes are done, steering is done. We can start working on distributor, fuel pump, little things like that. And zip tie some sort of Tri-5 radiator in this thing, so that's all we have. And maybe have it run in the next video or two. Danielle will see you tomorrow when she's pumping it. Pump it. New day. Muffed up. I had Dani sit in the seat, so we have it all the way forward in this little black lines where she is happy with it all the way ahead, which in turn gives me whatever all the way back is. As you can see, they just drop straight down, so we're gonna make some little L brackets. So I'm gonna cut those out on the saw. I ordered these mufflers off Scamazon. They might be a little loud, but they're tiny, which is what I wanted. So I had a set of Flow Pro, say they're Super 10s years ago, and they were extremely loud, too loud. And this looks like they're a rip-off of them. But I'm gonna seats bolted in. We'll make the brackets up real quick, weld them on, drill some holes, get that dialed, do both seats, lift it up, do the exhaust. Hopefully then Dani will be ready to come out here, bleed the brakes, and that's it for today. Then it's stuff to make it run. Let's start fabricobbling. Well, I was working away there, and then Dani came out to bug me. Damn renters, eh? They just gotta leave sometimes. But anyways, so if you could do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, that'd be great right now. Put the seats in. Check these things out. So they are low backs. They fit nice. I will say, if you are a husky gentleman, they will hug you. So we'll see how they are on the highway. But they're slick. I mean, they still actually have a ways to go back. The track length is unbelievable on them. So me and Dani can both fit this thing minty. Not much of a back seat to fit when I'm driving it, that's for sure. But hey, it's a race car. And let's be honest, that's where the cooler and most of my tools and a little bit of my sanity will be. So we got that all dialed. I'm just kind of cleaning up a little bit. I got a little bit more to do. But realistically, I want to clean out the inside a little. The last thing we're going to do is put the exhaust on this thing and then hopefully bleed the brakes. So these are little itty bitty muffs here. I'm going to keep cleaning up a little. I do have some exhaust pipe in the Nomad, so I'll go get that and we'll see what we can run. I think I'm just going to do, you know, straight back. Well, actually the muffler might be up here, up, and then I got some out right in front of the rear wheel. Something super simple, dual 3-inch exhaust, nothing crazy whatsoever. And I think it's going to be loud. But it's a race car. Race cars are supposed to be loud. And that's where we'll leave it. Then I got to make a list. I ordered a bunch of miscellaneous belts. Hopefully those will be here tomorrow. Just because I don't know what the hell size we're doing here. It's kind of a choose your own adventure. Then we got to start deciding what we need, where we got to get it from, and how much screwing around we want to do. But yeah, we're coming up on the weekend. So if we don't get everything basically tomorrow, Sunday, no bueno. And I want to drive this thing Sunday. Like, it's going around the block. Hopefully on its own power. I'm not towing it, but I am friggin' stoked about that. First fire, I will say, and then first drive. Those are two big ones. And then we'll go through the teething process of screwing everything out, or unscrewing everything I have done up. Man, I am a lot of hours in the garage. But yeah, I know it doesn't look any different, but I have been doing a lot of work. You gotta trust me. Be back shortly with a bunch of pipe. Back at it. Let's make some dirt cheap exhaust. So up front we have a set of used headers. I think these were 120, 130 bucks, one or the other. Chevy II headers are fairly common. A lot of guys use them in Gassers, Henry J's, all sorts of stuff like that. They have a cool look, so you can absolutely find these used. If not, I think these are a Speedway brand. I think they're 400 or 500 bucks. If you want to buy them brand new, they're not a fortune. I mean, it's not cheap, but they are available. I got a one stick of 3-inch. I think that was, it's 10 foot. I think it was 80 bucks. These U's are an absolute ripoff. I think that was like 50 or 60. A few clamps. I did have some collector stuff in stock. So this is, it's got ball and socket style. So I had both of them. I'm missing one of the, whatever, flanges. We'll just end up cutting one off this. It'll be the same. And a couple of cheap Amazon mufflers. I think these were 40 bucks each maybe. So 80, 160, or 210, some clamps and hangers. Call that another like 25, 2 1/4, and then headers. So I guess we're 350 bucks into this exhaust, which is not really that cheap, but it will be all new. And then we got some gaskets. I did buy header bolts, like crap like that. It all adds up. And it's gonna be a very simple exhaust. We're not going up and over the diff. One of these days I'd like to get a pipe bender or something like that. And they sell all manner of aftermarket kits where you can cut and U-bend and do all sorts of stuff like that. But for now, this is what we're going to do. The only thing, unfortunately, I don't have, and actually they sell on the internet some cheap ones I might buy, is like a little flaring kit, because we're going to go, well, this will fit inside the pipe. We'll weld that, and then one end will then go into the muffler, and then muffler out. But they're going to be identical size to whatever we decide to do here, and I don't know what that's going to be, unless I put the muffler at the back, which I might do. We'll see. There is room right under the seat, but honestly, if I put the muffler at the back, it'll just be a straight run, muffler, that out, no screwing around, weld it all, be one piece. And the nice thing about these ball and socket deals, you got to clean them up a little. But look, it's on the inside. If you put a little silicone in there, you don't need a gasket or anything, and they have infinite adjustments. They are pretty slick. So let's get this thing hoisted up high in the air, and we'll do a little bit of measuring and looking and seeing where we can maybe hang those mufflers. And it's gonna be a real simple exhaust job here. And yeah, bleed the brakes, we're done. So we're under this hot rod. We're gonna have our little orb piece there. Right there, straight back. Now as you can see, there's like a little hump here where the muffler can just fit so mint. And we'll have to go straight back, and about here we'll have to do some sort of a funny cut so it kind of comes up. We'll do some sort of a match. Now originally I was thinking I might put the muffler right there, which I usually could, but I think at some point we're going to want to put subframe connectors, and they're going to have to go from the outside and kind of angle in to there. So if we have the muffler right here, A, it'll hang down, but B, it's right in the way of the, the exhaust and everything. Versus we have it up here, we can kind of jog the exhaust over and come out. Also gives me a perfect place right there to put a hanger on this little floor brace, and then right on the side we can weld something to the sill to hold the pipe as well. So it'll be, you know, held at the front at the collector, back of the muffler, and then at the back. Not to mention, once we get it all tacked, come off in one solid piece, and just weld the whole thing. So it'll be one piece on, one piece off with a couple of, you know, clamps or whatever we decide to do to hold it. So pretty simple. It'll probably be a little screwing around, but let's get going. I do have to change where I have this thing lifted. I'm lifting on the sill right now. We'll go lift on this spring perch or something, I guess, instead. Yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll get that all dialed together so we get a little bit more room at the back here. Stupid cars with no frame. Like, what the hell? We need that. Honestly, we just need that subframe connector so I can lift it right here. So here is just kind of ugly. The header's kind of point up, so we got the exhaust mostly going straight, using blocks of wood. We have a nice area right there we can put a clamp to. Here it gets a little ugly, just kind of made that piece, and then we're going to come out here. Obviously then we can, without that block of wood there, we can adjust up and down, and, you know, do a little bracket right to there, one right there, and that's it. So I am going to unbolt this. Let me let it cool down a little bit because it's kind of all tacked together, and then we'll just solid weld it, and that will be our exhaust for this one side. I gotta get some different bolts for up front there. I don't know if I have any. And then really, I think I have a couple of clamps and hangers. I think I bought some. So I'll just put two at the back for now, and that'll be fine. You know, like so. Just weld the clamp to the or the hanger to the sill, down, one clamp. It's a ticket. We can even nut and bolt it. We do all sorts of funny things there. I mean, realistically, I guess it's not solid mounted. So maybe if we put some rubber in there, it'll actually kind of be a nice drive on the highway. But there you have it. Pretty simple. Lots of room the whole way around. I'm happy with it. A little tight at the front here. These are obviously probably not really meant for 3-inch, because right at the very tip is where it necks down to from 3.5-inch collector down to probably or 3-inch collector, sorry, down to 2.5. So there ain't much there. That should be good. It'll sound rowdy. I'm happy with it. So let's let it cool, get it off, start welding. So there we have it. Straight back, muffler, straight back, and then a little kickoff. And then up the side, pretty good. Should get all the exhaust out. Not a huge fan of the way that clamp looks. Might do something after the fact, maybe just on top or whatever, but it's good enough for now and very simple. And I mean, ultimately it looks pretty good. I'll do a quick little measurement from, the tip to the door or the tip to the whatever, the muffler. And will it be the same side to side? Probably not. But you know what? You can only look at one side at a time, guys. How many times do I gotta tell you? How's this light go on? Turning all sorts of places. Anyway, it probably took me a little over an hour, filming, screwing around, stuff like that. I'm gonna get the other side dialed together real quick, and hopefully by that time Dani will be free. I'm gonna go double check all the brakes. One thing I haven't done is bench bled the master and make sure the rod is still the same travel. It looked like it was pretty close when I was messing with it, so hopefully that'll work out. I'm gonna get the brakes all done tonight because, well, until we have leaks and problems and all that sort of stuff, but that's fun. That's the fun of hot rodding. It's the screw around. This is going to be loud. Sorry, babe, but I love it. Oh, I can't wait to fire this thing up in a day or so. Well, it's working away. Dani came out. Seats fit good. Look at the distance, actually height-wise. I got this exhaust all done, except for I didn't hang this last little hanger, but we're gonna go get cheeseburgers. So you don't want to be welding on the undercoating under the carpet and the seats. We've been there, done that, and it didn't always go well. Anyhow, so before we go and finish off this video, we're gonna bleed the brakes. I've got them all topped off. I made a couple of bleeders real quick, so you want to make sure you bench bleed these things, so you just kind of stab that in there, goes right into, so it's submersion fluid, pump it, and all the air comes out of it, you're golden. The other thing you got to watch is your pedal to the little stop at the back of the master. You need a little bit of play in the pedal. I've had it happen to myself, it happened to Newburn, it happened to Chase on Power Tour, where when that pedal is off, when your foot's off the pedal and it's at the stop, there should be a little bit of play between the rod and the master. If not, it'll hold residual pressure and it'll just have all sorts of issues. So we don't want that. We'll go ahead and put this cap on. We got the best fluid we could possibly buy that was on sale, and a Canadian Tire. Okay, line it up, and this thing is ridiculous looking. You got your makeup done early for me. Thanks, baby.
It was for my stream.
Oh, I appreciate it.
With Glitter Chaos on Twitch.
Oh my god. Thank you. Alright, so we got the bleeder out, so press down, back up. That all the way down, all the way up. Keep doing that.
Keep going?
Yeah. Sounds like something might be leaking.
I hear noises.
Yeah. I don't see anything hitting the ground yet. we've got a problem. Oh, that was like not even, like I didn't even put a wrench on it, it was that loose. I'm just saying, you know, for a race car mechanic, you have low standards. Okay. Let's just see what we pumped out on the ground. Oh, it's not so bad. Okay. As I was saying, take one. Okay, pump it 3 times and hold it down.
Holding.
Okay, hold it out, or up and down, kind of. You're going all the way to the floor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. You should hop over. The camera's fucked, shocker. Gonna snap. It's gonna snap. Well, it didn't go great. Might have had a small fit and through the camera.
What happened?
I don't know what happened there, but the brakes were not bleeding whatsoever. It was like a half-hour screw around of, not gonna lie, might have been the person hitting the brake pedal.
No, it was not.
I don't know what happened. We had to bleed. I had to bleed it at each and every connection the whole way through, which I've never had to really do that before in a long time. But I don't know. It's all brand new stuff, but everything is brand new all the time. So
It sounds like an installer issue.
I don't know what it was. There wasn't any leaks, but it did not have any brakes, like none. But now, whatever. After we threw the camera, Dani really got angry at it.
No. There's no we.
So anyways, that was kind of the old tedious video. I mean, I think I skipped a fair bit through it, but I mean, at this point now, the rear end's together, the front end's together, the exhaust, we need one hanger on the other side, a couple more there. Seats are in. Oh, I still gotta hook the transmission up. I don't think it's hooked up to nothing right now, so I gotta do that. Put some transmission mounts in it. Danielle's yawning like this is boring, even though this is her. The Visa payment is crazy on this, and you can't even hold the camera. So, it's basically there. Hopefully Joe's gonna come paint this thing up a little bit in the next few days, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. But in the meantime, that's where we're leaving it for now. Coming up next will be firing it up. So I have to do a bit of a mental checklist. I'll probably be out here first thing tomorrow before I get my day started. So I gotta pick things up from the speed shop if needed. But I think I have a bunch of stuff inside for distributor, plug wires, you know, stuff like a water neck. We got to get some miscellaneous rad hoses because we're going to try and put a Tri-5 radiator in here, I think, is the plan, because I have a bunch of Tri-5 radiators. But we should be able to do that. And then, I mean, the motor was already broken, ready to go. Screwing around the belt is going to be a hassle. But otherwise, if it has brakes, the steering should work. Give it a bit more of an alignment. Make it run. The transmission, all that everything should be good. Oh, I gotta put diff oil in it. That's an important one. I should put a sticker actually on the steering wheel before I go in tonight. It says no diff oil. Well, that's with linkages and all that sort of stuff. There's obviously no front headlights, any of that, but I think there'll be enough that we can start it and move it around a little bit. Maybe give it a wash, get outside. We're at like 10 days maybe now, a little more than that. And we got ourselves like a real hot rod, 12 days. Anyways. Hopefully you guys continue to enjoy the series. Thank you so much for leaving comments and liking the video. And as always, you wouldn't mind subscribing. It makes a huge difference for us and allows us to keep wasting money on overpriced Nova hot rods for Danielle, who says she wants to be a Dragon driver, and we'll probably drive it once and she won't like it. Small chance. See you tomorrow. I need a shower.
Say you're sorry to the camera.
Sorry, camera.